Okay, so in the spirit of this channel being basically whatever random stuff I feel like putting on it, I decided to do a tour of my horror movie collection. Just all the horror movies and shows I have on DVD and Blu-ray. So, let's just get started. I just got a couple little knickknacks up here. The Black Phillip from The Witch, Cthulhu Pop, and an Engineer from Prometheus. Just all kind of shoved in here because why not? The shelf was not all the way full. So, start off, we've got just kind of a general horror section. No specific genres, just whatever. Got the Horror Classics DVD set from Walmart. I think it's 12 discs, so it's 12 discs. Terrible quality, but hey, it's a lot of old movies that don't like show up that often at used stores and stuff, so why not? And then also the other collection I have, just a couple Vincent Price movies, House on Haunted Hill and Last Man on Earth, classic stuff. The Scream Factory collector's edition of the Babadook, really nice slipcase. And I don't know if the normal Blu-ray comes with the original short film. I think it might have just been this version, but either way, it's got like a little pop-up thing in it. It's a nice edition. I love the Babadook. Cabin in the Woods, one of my all-time favorite horror movies, and I think maybe the first horror movie I saw in a theater. I didn't get into horror movies until like high school, and then didn't really start watching them in the theaters until after I graduated, so that was kind of a latecomer to horror, but that was definitely a big game changer for me. Cure for Wellness, haven't seen this one yet, but I've heard that it's the kind of movie that I would like, just given the kind of horror movies I'd like, so I'm looking forward to it. There's definitely going to be a few, maybe more than a few, movies in here that I'm going to say I haven't seen it yet, and I know some of them there's going to be people watching this thinking that how could you not have seen that, but hey, you know what? Only so many hours in a day, I'll get around to it. The Descent, I didn't like this movie the first time I saw it, but so many people love it that I wanted to give it another shot, and it was like $3 on Blu-ray, so I figured, why not? I don't know, maybe I'll like it more the second time around. Goodnight Mommy, have not seen this one yet. It's another one I've heard that it's the kind of movie I'd really, really like. Kind of, one of those like art house horror movies. I'm a sucker for those, so looking forward to it, but no, I haven't seen it yet. It Follows, one of my favorites. Definitely got the steelbook of this one. Of course, all my steelbooks are in these protective sleeves from retroprotection.com, I believe is the site. Definitely check it out. These are really nice, really solid. Just puts my mind at ease a little bit that the steelbooks aren't going to get scratched, because they do scratch so easily. And I've got a lot of steelbooks, so it's just nice to have. But oh yeah, and then the back of this one, just a screenshot from the movie. Not going to show the inside just because it would take forever to open up the case. Pan's Labyrinth, haven't seen it. Love Guillermo del Toro, but just have not gotten around to seeing this one. But it's another one that was like $3 or $4, so I figured, why not? I'm sure I'll like it. I like that director, so I'll check it out sometime. Phantasm Classic, another one I haven't seen. Like I said, there's going to be some of those, but I saw the steelbook. It was on sale. Really gorgeous cover. It's another one I know that people love, so I figured it's a good chance that I'll like it, so I picked it up. The Village has not come out on Blu-ray for whatever reason. I know some people just don't like this movie. I guess maybe because it's Shyamalan, so if you don't like Shyamalan, you're not going to like it. I think this is one of his really good ones. There's definitely some Shyamalan movies I don't like. I love this movie. Obviously, I won't say what the twist is, but I actually really love the twist. Some people think it ruins the movie. I think it's what makes the movie special. Alright, so now moving into our first subgenre, Asian horror, with this thing. I don't know what this is. I picked this up. It was like literally $1 at Half Price Books. If you have a Half Price Books near you, they're like the place to get these just weird, obscure horror movies for super cheap. I haven't watched this one, but I like Asian horror, so figured why not. I'll check it out sometime. I think it's a Korean movie. Then moving on down, we have the Ju-on series. Starting with, I can't believe I found these again at Half Price Books, but it's Ju-on the Curse, Ju-on the Curse 2, Ju-on the Grudge. These two are easy to find, but the Curse ones are actually kind of tricky. But I don't know, you can probably get them online for cheap, but I just never look. But Ju-on the Grudge and Ju-on the Grudge 2, those two are pretty readily available. I got this one at Best Buy, actually. And then I just went ahead and put the Grudge trilogy in here, the American version, the Grudge unrated, Grudge 2 unrated, Grudge 3 unrated. I don't have any of the Ju-on movies on Blu-ray. I should try and track them down, but most of them don't have imports in my region on Blu-ray, and I don't have a region-free player, so... Ju-on White Ghost, Black Ghost, and then the Ring series. So, got Ring, the Spiral, I forget the Japanese name for it, but the kind of unofficial or lost sequel, whatever you want to call it. Then Ring 2, the official sequel. Ring 0, the prologue or prequel, whatever you want to call it. Then the American remake, the Ring and the Ring 2, which I haven't seen the Ring 2, actually, the American version. Should watch that sometime. And I also haven't seen Rings yet, but I think I got this one at FYE. It was on sale, used for like $5, so yeah, why not finish the collection? Well, it's not finished. I still have to get all the other Japanese ones, the Sadako movies and stuff, but anyway, so then moving on, Hitchcock section. Obviously, I need to get more Hitchcock. I always seem to find his stuff on DVD when I'm at the store, and I'm just always holding out for the Blu-rays, so I just never end up picking it up. But of course, I have to at least have Psycho. Got the pop art edition, the nice slipcover, sucker for slipcovers. Then move on to the Kaiju section, starting with, well, I should preface this. So there's going to be some stuff in here throughout this whole horror section that I'm sure some people will say, that's not even horror, why is it in here? You know, I use the term pretty broadly, partly just because I want to fill these shelves, so I want to get anything even horror adjacent on here. So I'm counting Kaiju. You know, it is what it is. So starting with the Toho Godzilla, got the original Criterion Collection, don't have the Blu-ray, just because this came out back when I only had a DVD player and I never upgraded it. But, you know, frankly, for how old the movie is, the DVD version looks nice. It's still a Criterion transfer, so... Godzilla Raids Again. Not a great movie, but, you know, it's the first time Godzilla ever fought another monster, Anguirus, so that's kind of cool. King Kong vs. Godzilla, sadly just the English translation, don't have the Japanese audio version, which is a shame, but... then skip all the way to Godzilla 2000, shows you how many Toho movies I still need to get. Then Godzilla against Mechagodzilla. Usually I just pick these up when I can find them for cheap. But I had to get Shin Godzilla, obviously, because it's amazing and maybe the best Godzilla movie ever. If you haven't seen Shin Godzilla, watch it, and watch it with an open mind. It's really different, but it's a really good movie. Then moving on from the Toho Godzillas into Universal's Monsterverse with Kong Skull Island, and then Godzilla, just because I'm sorting these chronologically, not by release date. Then moving on in the Kaiju section to Pacific Rim, Pacific Rim Uprising. Still haven't seen Uprising, but I've not heard good things, so whatever. These two, I know they're not horror, but they're kaiju, so I'm putting with these, and Godzilla kind of is horror, especially the first one, and Shin Godzilla, so like I said, if they're horror adjacent, they're going in this section. Then move on to the Stephen King section, with Carrie, the remake. I had the original on DVD, but basically I just sold off pretty much all my DVDs that I knew I would eventually get on Blu-ray, so I just haven't gotten the Blu-ray, but I will sometime. Then Christine and the Steelbook. I think this is a 4K Steelbook, actually. It's a pop art. I actually still haven't seen Christine, but I love John Carpenter, I love Stephen King, I love Steelbooks, so couldn't go wrong there. And then just get these out of the way. The Blair Witch Chronicles graphic novel, and issues 2 and 3 of the Dawn of the Dead comic book adaptation. I'll explain why I don't have issue 1 in a bit here, but anyway, moving on down to the next shelf, still in Stephen King, we've got Creepshow, which, if you don't know, isn't based on a Stephen King book, as far as I know, but it is a collaboration between Stephen King and George Romero. Then The Mist, which I haven't seen yet, but like Frank Darabont, and a friend of mine got the Blu-ray that comes with the black and white version, so he didn't need this Blu-ray anymore, so thanks, Jonathan. Appreciate it. Pet Sematary, another one I haven't seen, but again, I love Stephen King, and I love steelbooks, and especially Mondo steelbooks. These things, once they're gone, so I wanted to jump on that, and yeah, just wanted to grab that while I could, so. The Shining, one of the best horror movies ever made, and this is just a fantastic steelbook. I think this is the FYE steelbook, or at least that's where I found it. I don't know if it's one of their exclusives or not, but yeah, I love that movie. Then moving on to, this section's kind of a weird one. It's just demons, the occult, witches, all of that stuff, just kind of mixed together, because I didn't know where else to put. So, it's all of that. Starting with The Blackcoat's Daughter, probably my second favorite horror movie of all time. I think it's criminally underrated. You know, people tend to like it, I think, as far as I know, but I just don't think it gets the love it deserves. Not as many people have seen it as should have. If you haven't seen this movie, it's a great movie. It's fantastic. Check it out. And of course, Blair Witch Project. You know, I love found footage. My horror roots are like Paranormal Activity and Marble Hornets, so I just really have a soft spot for this kind of stuff. I know some people hate it. I don't know, it just gets under my skin. Can't wait for the video game to come out. It's gonna be good. But what's not good, Blair Witch 2, or sorry, Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2, a movie that does not have a Book of Shadows in it. God, this thing's awful. I don't know, it's fun to watch just because it is so bad. They rushed out a sequel just because, you know, money. But, God, it's awful. Blair Witch, this one, I didn't think it was that bad. You know, a lot of people hated this one. It's not as good as the original, but for, like, you know, a modern-day found footage movie, I liked it. I kind of have a soft spot just because I'm a fan of Adam Wingard. I love You're Next. We just won't talk about Death Note, but... Alright, Cat People and Curse of the Cat People. Two classics that I have not seen, but they were cheap, so I figured, you know what, why not go ahead and pick them up? The Blu-rays are kind of expensive, so just figured I'd go ahead and get them on DVD for now. Just to have the chance to watch them finally. Then we've got kind of a mini section within this section, the Conjuring Universe. I've just got them in chronological order instead of release order, so we've got The Nun, Annabelle Creation, Annabelle, The Conjuring, and The Conjuring 2, which, small pet peeve, at some point I'll get a slipcover for this just because you can find them online for cheap. In the US, they never released one for The Conjuring 2. I think there's like a Canadian one, but it doesn't usually go up for sale, so the whole universe has slipcovers except for The Conjuring 2, which is also my favorite one in the series, so yeah, what can you do? The Craft, haven't seen this one. It's another one that seems like my kind of horror movie, and I definitely wanted to get the Scream Factory release while the slipcover was still in print. I've gotten burned before by waiting too long on the Scream Factory slipcovers and missing out. So I'm definitely going to check that out sometime. Within the Woods, obviously never been released. This is just a homemade DVD, just made with iDVD and then printed a cover. If you don't know what it is, it's the student film made by Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell. I should clarify, I did not make this artwork. If you Google, like, Within the Woods DVD cover or something like that, this will come up. So, kudos to whoever put that together. Then just got Evil Dead Special Collector's Edition DVD, because I don't yet have the Ultimate Edition DVD, and some of these special features are not on the Blu-ray. So, just held on to that for now, until I can get the Ultimate DVD. Then I've got the Evil Dead Blu-ray. Yeah, it's a steelbook, of course. Love steelbooks. It's a nice one, too. But yeah, sadly, the Blu-ray only comes with the commentary. None of the other special features. I don't know why. The Evil Dead 2 Blu-ray, on the other hand, has everything the DVD had, and I think maybe even more. It's got all of these special features, so... I don't know if the 4K version has more, but this is a nice one. Then, of course, Army of Darkness, Scream Factory slipcover. Didn't get the steelbook. I got it too soon for that, but I really like the slipcover. Of course, as always with Scream Factory, then you've got the original artwork on the inside, so that's cool. You can reverse it. Yeah, Evil Dead is one of my favorite horror series, so have to get everything I can with that. The Evil Dead remake. Maybe my favorite one in the series, actually. Another movie I think is really underrated. Love Betty Alvarez, love Jane Levy, they're both great. And the extended cut, which I think is available in the US now, but it was so long that I just went ahead and ordered a region-free copy from, like, Sweden or something like that. I think it's like a German copy that I ordered from Sweden. I don't know. Either way, it's region-free, so I can watch the extended cut that way. Kept this one, the theatrical one, for the commentary. Then Ash vs. Evil Dead with the lenticular slipcover, Season 1. Ash vs. Evil Dead Season 2, the Steelbook. Season 1 Steelbook is outrageously expensive. It's like $200 now, so I don't see that ever happening. Season 3 Steelbook. Of course, had to get that. Loved the show. Still, it's tragic how it ended, but oh well, that's life, I guess. Alright, The Exorcist, one of the greatest horror movies ever made. I got the Blu-ray Digipack, or whatever these are called, that has both cuts. So I think usually the Blu-ray has one cut or the other. And you know, it's a Warner Brothers release, so Blu-rays are pretty flaky when it comes to how they release them, so grabbed that when I could. And then Hereditary. So here's the thing. I love art house horror movies, usually. And I love A24 horror movies, usually. When I first saw Hereditary, I did not like this movie. I actually kind of hated it. I still have some issues with it. I think there are some things that could have been solved with another couple of script revisions, but I've really come around on it. You know, I've listened to some other people's thoughts on the movie and why it affected them the way it did, and I don't know, I actually have a lot more respect for this movie now. Really looking forward to Midsummer. Hope that's going to be good. Alright, so got Lights Out. The short film I'm a huge fan of, that this is based on, made by the same writer-director as the movie. The movie, I thought it was good. The monster wasn't anywhere near as good as in the short film. They just kind of went with something really generic in the movie, but it's still a really interesting movie about like mental illness and family, so I don't know, I like it. The short film's better though. Then we have Paranormal Activity. This is probably the movie that got me into horror, which I know a lot of like hardcore horror fans are not into this movie. I don't know, I really like it. The house in this movie is a lot like the house I grew up in, and I watched it the first time in bed on a laptop, in a bed like in this room next to the stairs, basically the same layout, so it freaked me out. Paranormal Activity 2 I thought was pretty good, more of the same. Paranormal Activity 3 I think is the best one in the series. I think it has the best story, really gets into the lore, which is cool. And then moving on to Paranormal Activity 4, you know, I don't hate it. It's not bad. It's definitely when the series started going downhill, but I think it's like the last decent one. Huge step down from 3, but still a fun movie to watch. Then got Suspiria, the original. Ordered this, I think it's a Korean import or something, or Japanese import, something like that. Ordered this like a week before the US Blu-ray collector's edition got announced, but it's a nice cover, so who cares. The remake of Suspiria, one of my favorite horror movies. I was blown away by this. A lot of people didn't like this one. I think it's a lot of people who don't like a lot of these slow burn, long, you know, art house horror movies. I love that stuff. Speaking of which, The Witch, my favorite horror movie of all time. Yeah, enough said. This movie's perfect. Moving on to the Jordan Peele section, because he deserves his own section. Get Out. Love this movie. What else do you need to say? Us. Haven't seen it yet, but got the Steelbook based solely on how much I loved Get Out. So looking forward to watching that sometime, just when I get the time. I missed it in the theaters, unfortunately. I Am Legend, not the best movie, but, you know, it's fun. It Comes at Night, another A24, slow burn horror. Another one people hate, but I really like it. I know there's people say, like, there's no payoff or whatever. I think there's plenty of payoff. I think it just depends on what you're going into the movie expecting. A Quiet Place, probably one of the best movies of any genre to come out in 2018. It's just incredible. Of course, got the Steelbook, especially with like the embossed like claw mark on the front. Love that. Then we're moving on to sci-fi horror. So first up, got Prometheus. Actually, first up, got all the whole Alien section in chronological order rather than release order. So yeah, I got Prometheus. Then got the Alien Covenant Steelbook. Maybe my favorite Alien movie. A lot of people knock the new Ridley Scott ones, Prometheus and Alien Covenant, but I love both of them. Then, of course, the original 35th Anniversary Edition, which comes with the graphic novel adaptation and some H.R. Giger art cards. Then the 40th Anniversary Steelbook, which is the 4K version. I don't think that's an actual Giger piece of art, but you know, clearly inspired by his style, the pose and everything. Really nice Steelbook. So then got Alien Isolation, which I know, not a movie, but as far as I know, it's considered canon, and it's really good. I like Amanda Ripley, so it goes in the timeline. I just don't have room for all the books, so I'd put them in there too. The Aliens 30th Anniversary Edition, Blu-ray, really nice set. I don't think it came with a graphic novel or anything, but I think it just had some art cards. But it's a nice box. Alien 3, I think the director's cut is, or well, director's cut, the extended cut, whatever you want to call it. I think that's pretty underrated. It's actually not a bad movie. And the one that actually is a bad movie, Alien Resurrection. But it's part of the timeline, so whatever. Got Annihilation from the director of Ex Machina. I really dug it. It's not like my favorite horror movie. I think it's kind of The Thing, but didn't do it quite as well as The Thing, but still really good. Ex Machina, one of my favorites. I know some people might not consider this horror. I think it's definitely horror, definitely sci-fi horror. Speaking of, you know, movies that people definitely won't consider horror, Jurassic Park. Yeah, I know some people say these aren't horror, these are family movies. You know, they're scary enough. They're sci-fi horror. People getting eaten by dinosaurs. I count it. Love those. Even the new ones. Speaking of which, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, the Steelbook of that. They're fun. And moving on to a movie that's definitely not a masterpiece. Plan 9 from Outer Space. Probably the worst movie I own. If you haven't seen it, just watch it. It's worth it. And then after that, Shape of Water. Another one people might not consider horror, but just because, you know, it is so inspired, well, that's really reflecting light. Just because it is so inspired by Creature from the Black Lagoon, I put it in the horror section, so. And it's a just gorgeous steelbook, too. Matches the novel cover, which is nice. And The Thing steelbook. This is the one case I'm really glad I missed the Scream Factory slipcover, just because the Steelbook Scream Factory edition comes with the Arrow Video disc, which the other Scream Factory edition did not, and it's a new transfer that is I think miles better than the other Scream Factory one. So moving on from sci-fi horror into slashers and serial killers, got American Psycho, one of my favorite movies of all time. I think the book is kind of terrible, but the movie is fantastic. Mary Harron and Guinevere Turner took everything that was good about the book and put that in the movie and cut the rest, so no pun intended. Then we got the Friday the 13th movies, just the original, uncut, Part 2, Part 3 3D. Not a big fan of Friday. I think they're alright, but, you know, Halloween's where it's at, so we'll get to that in a minute. Green Room. Haven't seen it yet, but love A24, love Patrick Stewart, so had to get that. I'll check it out sometime. Halloween, the original. It's basically the 35th anniversary edition, but it's a steelbook that they re-released it in, so that's really nice. Had to get the steelbook. Don't have 2 and 3 just because I'm holding out to get those Scream Factory steelbooks, but they're kind of pricey, so just waiting for that to get a little more reasonable. But then I got 4. I'm not a big fan of the 4 through 6 trilogy. I think they're kind of awful, but, you know, just have to complete the set. I still haven't seen this cut, the unrated producer's cut of 6. I've heard it's better, so I'll check that out sometime. And of course got the triple feature of 6 and H2O and Resurrection, the worst one. H2O I will defend. I think it's the best sequel until 2018 happened. Rob Zombie's Halloween, not a fan, but I already had 2 other Halloween steelbooks, so I figured why not pick that one up. Halloween 2, haven't bothered to watch it yet just because I didn't like the first one that much. Just not a Rob Zombie fan. Then Halloween 2018, I think the best of the steelbooks. Love the artwork, especially on the front. It's a really nice picture of Michael. So, actually really enjoyed that movie. I was a little disappointed at first just because it's definitely, it doesn't feel like the first one, but once I got over that, you know, it's its own thing and it's a good movie. Definitely better than the other sequels. Then going to Saw. Still need to get the first one on Blu-ray, just haven't bothered upgrading. That is the uncut version. Then of course, Saw 2 uncut, Saw 3 uncut, Saw 4 uncut, Saw 5 uncut, Saw 6 uncut, Saw 3D or the final chapter uncut, and Jigsaw, which did not get an uncut edition. Then Scream. Love that movie. Love all 4, frankly. Dug the TV show. Shame it got cancelled or rebooted or whatever's happening with season 3 if it even comes out. Then just a Scream bonus disc that came with the DVD set. Just having to pick that up at a used store. Texas Chainsaw Steelbook. This is actually the one steelbook I kind of wish I didn't have, because I didn't realize it's only the first disc of the 40th anniversary edition. But since I already got the steelbook, it makes it, you know, kind of hard to justify picking up the 40th anniversary edition. So maybe someday. But it's a nice steelbook though. You're Next. Haven't picked up the Blu-ray, but I love this movie so much I couldn't bring myself to sell the DVD. If you haven't seen You're Next, it's a really underrated gem. It's hilarious. It's sick, but it's hilarious. Then Marble Hornets. Like I said earlier, Marble Hornets was really, really a big influence on me as a horror fan. Led me to make my own Slender Man series, which led me to go to film school. I mean, Marble Hornets is like huge for me, so of course I've got the DVD of that. And moving on down here, well, I'll do these first. Got season 2 of Marble Hornets. And then, of course, season 3, and this one is the signed edition by Troy Wagner, Joseph Delage, and Tim Sutton. Yeah, I had to pick that up from the Kickstarter. Then got Always Watching a Marble Hornets story, the black sheep of the family. You know, it's not good, but it exists. It's Marble Hornets, so I had to get it. And then also Marble Hornets, the Marble Hornets Season 3 Disc 2 test copy, signed by Tim Sutton. I had the fortune of being one of the DVD testers for Season 3, so got this little thing. Definitely like one of the crown jewels of my collection. Really, really love this thing. And it has a feature that's not on the normal DVD. It's normally only on the Blu-ray, so that's neat. Slender Man, I think this movie got way too much hate. It's not as good as like Marble Hornets or Everyman Hybrid or Tribe 12 or anything, but you know, it was a fun movie. I thought they got the mythos pretty much right, so whatever, I'll defend that movie. Slender Man the Book, haven't read it yet, but it's the only other like official piece of media other than the game, The Arrival, which is not, it doesn't have a physical copy, so I don't have that here, but I do own it. So I still need to read that. Then we got the Universal Monsters, the Alex Ross Steelbooks of Dracula, Frankenstein, and the Mummy. Just got these in release order. The Bride, or no, not the Bride's Frankenstein, the Invisible Man. Then the Bride of Frankenstein. These Alex Ross covers are just gorgeous too, so absolutely had to get these. The Wolfman and the Creature from the Black Lagoon. So, which also the Steelbook was really nice with the Shape of Water one. So, just happy coincidence, I guess. Dark Shadows. Have not seen this, but it was another one that was super cheap. And, oh, also I should clarify, because I totally stopped updating what sections I was in. After slashers and serial killers, got Slender Man, then Universal Monsters, now vampires. So anyway, Dark Shadows, haven't seen it. Let Me In, I have not seen it, but I have seen Let the Right One In, and really love that movie. I just haven't bothered to get a Blu-ray yet, but found this with a slipcover for cheap, so I picked it up. Sure I'll like it, because I love the original. Then I got a Windigo section, just because, why not? Which is Until Dawn. I know, not a movie, but it's basically a movie. Then the UK edition of Until Dawn, from my ill-fated quest to try and get the extended edition content. It's locked behind a pre-order bonus, and I still don't have, because it was not included in this used extended edition case, so, but the case is nice. Then Windigo, directed by Larry Fessenden, who has a starring role in Until Dawn. Basically everything with Wendigos is going to have Larry Fessenden involved somehow. Then we get into zombies. First with pre-Romero Zombies, a triple feature DVD. Of White Zombie, King of the Zombies, and Revolt of the Zombies. And then we get into Romero with Night of the Living Dead, 40th Anniversary DVD, the good one, not the terrible 30th Anniversary DVD, which sucked. Then the 50th Anniversary Criterion Collection Blu-ray, which is, if you don't have this, you need to get it. This is the ultimate way to watch this movie. It's fantastic. This is the ultimate set. Until they release a 4K version, anyway. Dawn of the Dead Ultimate Edition DVD. This is why I do not have issue 1 of the comic book, because it's in here. It's a small version, but still, why buy it twice? Yeah, this is the version of the DVD that comes with all the different cuts of the movie and the documentaries. This is a great set. Unfortunately, those cuts have not been released in the US on Blu-ray or 4K yet, because of a whole rights snafu that I won't get into here. But it's the same reason this Blu-ray is out of print. I was very lucky to find this for, I think, $40 at half price. That was a good deal. So, and then the novelization by George Romero and Susanna Sparrow. Have not read it, but I'll get around to it sometime. Then, of course, Day of the Dead, Scream Factory Blu-ray. This is the one I missed out on the slipcover, unfortunately. Someday I'll track that down, but the slipcover alone goes for like $50, so I don't know if it's worth it. Got Night of the Living Dead 50th Anniversary Edition graphic novel adaptation, because I just kind of went all out for 50th Anniversary. Also got the Waxwork soundtrack of all three up here, of course. I think all three of these are sold out now, so glad I picked those up when I did. Then, moving on to the bottom, get these out of the way, just VHS copies of Creepshow and limited edition, or alternate edition, whatever, Scream on VHS. And of course, Army of Darkness on LaserDisc, because gotta have that, right? Continuing with Romero, got Land of the Dead, Scream Factory with the slipcover, so that's nice. Got Diary of the Dead. I don't think they ever released a slipcover, at least not that I've found. Survival of the Dead with a lenticular slipcover. Nights of the Living Dead, which I don't know if this is canon or not, but George Romero was an editor on it, so I count it. It's like stories centered around the original movie, so that's kind of cool. Then I've got the Dawn of the Dead remake, moving on to a section that's basically just remakes of Romero movies, but right now I only have the one. I haven't picked up Night or Day, but I love the Dawn remake, and the slipcover for the Scream Factory edition's great, so had to get that. Then moving on to just other zombie movies. Got Maggie, which I haven't seen yet, but it was cheap, so I picked it up. Shaun of the Dead classic, got the steelbook of that. World War Z, I think the unrated cut's actually okay. It's definitely, like, not anywhere near my favorite zombie movie, and it's nowhere near as good as the book, but yeah, the unrated cut's okay. So, and that comes with this edition, so that's fine. Zombie World, haven't seen it yet, but it was cheap and I've heard it's nuts. I think there's a zombie Jesus killing people with like a swordfish skeleton. It's a wild movie. Then I've got all the Walking Dead seasons here, so got the first season, season 2, 3, the steelbook of season 4, just happened to find that used, 5, then Fear, season 1, the re-release with like more special features and a new slipcover, then season 6 of the main show, Fear season 2, season 7 of the main show, Fear season 4, season 8 of the main show. Oh, sorry, I meant to say Fear season 3, and season 8 of the main show, then Fear season 4. And then The Walkers Among Us, the Chris Mocked documentary. I don't know if this is still available, but it's pretty good. It's just about like the fans and has some of the actors from the show in it. It's fun to watch. Then zombie video games with Dead Rising, the HD version, Last of Us remastered, and Left 4 Dead. Then I might as well go over these two while I'm here. We got a few Alien books and comics, and then VHS. And then we'll move on over to the other room. Got a few more items. Okay, and then just moving over to my TV section, because I've got a couple other horror-related things over here. Just got the Stranger Things series with Stranger Things 1, 2, The Other Side comic book, and the 2 novels, and the Coke bottle that they put out. And then Twin Peaks, with Twin Peaks, the entire mystery, which is seasons 1, 2, and the movie Fire Walk with Me. Then the Secret History of Twin Peaks book, Twin Peaks, the limited series, season 3 basically, and the final dossier. And then the Welcome to Night Vale book. Yeah, don't judge me. I have the Twilight books. Deal with it. So yeah, that's basically it. That's the whole horror movie collection. Got some books and stuff up here that are horror. They're not really organized right now, and they're not all here. Of course, got some more horror. The Five Nights at Freddy's, which also, some of those aren't here right now. I need to set that display back up. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I don't know if I'll do like an update or something when I, have more stuff to show, but yeah, thanks for watching.